Hello YouTube, this is Let's Talk Horror, and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so when I'm recording this, it is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. I know you won't be watching this when it's Valentine's Day. I wasn't actually going to make this video, but I woke up. I was going to watch My Bloody Valentine because you know what? I was thinking to myself, it's been a while since I've seen those movies. I had only seen those movies once coming into today. And I told myself, that's a cool way to talk about some movies and a franchise, if you can call My Bloody Valentine a franchise, that doesn't get talked about a lot in the general slasher and horror community. I mean, let's call a spade. All the oxygen in the slasher community by the Halloween franchise. It gets taken up by Friday the 13th in that franchise. It gets taken up by Scream in that franchise. It gets taken up by Nightmare on Elm Street in that franchise. Maybe even it gets taken up by something like Leprechaun in that franchise and all those weird movies and weird sequels that franchise has. And something like My Bloody Valentine simply doesn't get talked about. So this would be a good opportunity for me to talk about a pair of movies and a franchise that I don't get to talk about. I've decided I'm going to do that today, and let's start with My Bloody Valentine 1981. I'm going to give my thoughts and pretty much my reviews of My Bloody Valentine 1981 and My Bloody Valentine 3D right now. And let's get into My Bloody Valentine 1981, and I hate to say it, guys, I really hate to say it, this one was just okay. I was hoping to find a hidden gem. I had only seen this one once before, like several years ago. I decided to watch it and couldn't remember anything about it, but I decided to view it again, and I don't know, man. It's okay. It's fine. I'll even say it's fairly decent, but it's not great. It's not a hidden gem. It's not like Black Christmas or anything like that. I definitely have my problems with it. So let me get into it. Let me get into what I liked, what I didn't like. First, let's get a plot synopsis up here. So if you want the plot synopsis of My Bloody Valentine 1981, here it is. Friends of Valentine's Bluff defy the rules of a legendary murderer and discover he is real when they start celebrating Valentine's Day. So there's your plot synopsis, and let's get into my thoughts, because there are things that I like about this movie. So some positives. The miner, or Harry Warden, is a extremely underrated slasher villain. From his look to his breathing to his pickaxe, he is very cool and terrifying. There was a lot of potential here to really have a slasher villain that spawned a franchise. I think Harry Warden had a lot of potential to spawn a franchise. From his look, the miner suit, it's cool, it's creepy in its own way. It's not just a guy in a mask holding a knife, it's a pickaxe, which is a terrifying weapon in its own right. The breathing definitely adds a lot. And then when you get to the backstory of oh my God, these people in this mine were working one night, and the people who were supposed to be supervising this project kicked off early to go to the big Valentine's Day event in town, and because of that, there was an accident in the mine, and they got trapped down there for 6 weeks, and Harry Warden actually, who was one of the workers, murdered and ate his fellow workers and went to a mental institution and then got out, killed these two supervisors that caused the accident pretty much. That was all really cool. It's a really cool, really memorable, really creepy backstory, and I liked what they set up. And there was a lot of potential here. The town of Valentine's Bluff is another thing. Very unique setting, too. This is not like Halloween in a suburban setting, in a suburban town. This is not like Camp Crystal Lake and Friday the 13th and a million of those rip-offs where it's a camp. It's this blue-collar, mining town where everyone knows everyone else. And I think that's kind of a unique setting for this. And it's a nice change of pace. It's kind of refreshing. It's not Halloween and all those ripoffs, as I said. It's not Friday the 13th and all those ripoffs. This is its own thing, and I really appreciate that. And finally, that brings me to another thing, and probably my final real positive is the mine shaft was a great setting for the climax and a unique setting in general. very unique to the slasher genre and makes for some great atmosphere. Yeah, the climax of this movie is in a mine shaft, and that creates some great mood, some great atmosphere. It's a very cramped space, very dark place. Again, a lot of great cinematography, a lot of great mood in that mine shaft in this 1981 original, and I liked that. So this movie did have quite a bit going for it. Very unique setting in a lot of ways, really cool villain that had potential to spawn a franchise. But now I gotta get to my negatives. My first negative is this. While I appreciate the attempts at a love triangle that they put in, I was not properly invested in the situation between Axel, Sarah, and TJ. Yeah, they try to do this thing, and maybe it's because it's a Valentine's movie, where they try to do this love triangle between TJ, Sarah, and Axel. And I don't know, we just don't know anything about these characters. They don't really establish, Sarah is just a bland final girl in this, and TJ and Axel just seem like two bland jocks. And it's not good. They really don't establish why anyone should be invested here. And then the problem is, outside of the love triangle between those three, all the other characters are completely forgettable. The people in the love triangle are the only characters they put effort into establishing, and even they are blank characters. As I said, those are the only characters they even put a little bit of effort. The other ones, you don't even know their names. They're just completely stereotypical, forgettable in every way slasher characters. They're literally only there for the body count. And if you're going to do that, you have to have a love triangle that I think is really engaging, and that is not what happened here. One thing I will say, though, what I guess makes this movie and the next movie really unique is that this is not just another slasher with high school or college kids that are horny and a slasher villain is going after them. No, I was actually reading an interview from Bloody Disgusting with the director of this movie, and pretty clear here, and it's made especially clear in the remake, that no, this is people in young adulthood, in their mid-20s and their late 20s, maybe even in their early 30s, who are just at this dead-end job in this dead-end town. Mining is really all they want to do. They don't really like their life that much. Then they have this to deal with, and it's another thing they have to deal with on top of their already miserable lives. And I like that. I like that kind of switch up. I like that it's not just the cliche group of teenagers that are just trying to fuck and they get picked off one by one. These are actual, there is some depth there that I'll give it credit for, and it's trying to be something new, and I like it. And it, again, in many ways it is refreshing, but I just wish they would have executed the other stuff they were going for better. The setup and the kills were great, but the MPAA really watered this down, greatly hurting the final product. Yeah, the kills, the setup for the kills, like the pickaxe to the jaw, the pickaxe to the back, like hanging someone on like a hook, that was great. Like a screw to the back in the mines, they were all great. They had so much potential, but the problem is the MPAA really watered this stuff down, and this is probably my biggest complaint. For all the stuff they got right with Harry Warden, the lore, the look, the weapon, a lot of cutaway kills, a lot of stuff that got watered down, and that really hurts this final product. The kill in the laundromat is another one, kind of a bland cutaway kill, although the aftermath of what they show you looks really cool. But yeah, that's probably my biggest things. The kills really got watered down here. And then finally, the twist to end the movie, it's not very well done. The twist is that for the entire movie, you kind of think, oh my God, Harry Warden's back. And it turns out, no, it was a whodunit all along. And in the mines, we find out it was Axel all along. And the reveal is pretty funny. Yeah, they take off his mask, and TJ's like, Axel, why? And all they show is like a less than 10-second clip that it turned out it was Axel all along, who was the son of one of the supervisors that actually got killed by Harry Warden, and it's shown in all of like 10 seconds, and it's very rushed. It's not very well done. And then on top of that, the ending feels very rushed. It's revealed, the mine collapses, but it's revealed that Axel lives and escapes, and he's saying stuff like, oh, this town will never celebrate Valentine's Day again, and I'll get you. And it's I don't know, just not very well done. Just to get under some nitpicky things, I mean, there is no attempt at like a soundtrack here. You know, there is barely any music, and the music they do have is completely immemorable. I couldn't even tell you what it is. It doesn't even seem like they attempted a soundtrack here. As we all know, maybe this is one of the reasons why it didn't catch on. You know, Friday the 13th has a very memorable soundtrack. Halloween obviously has a very recognizable and memorable soundtrack. There is none here. Some sort of recognizable or memorable soundtrack would have been nice. And then finally, there's an opening scene in this movie that is completely random. They're down in the mines with these two miners are apparently down in the mines, and it's revealed that, you know, one of the miners takes off her suit and her mask, and it's like a blonde woman, and she's about to fuck the other miner, I guess, and then all of a sudden he sticks the pickaxe in the wall and pins her to it, and I don't know. I don't know why they put that in. It played absolutely no role in the story. Yeah, guys, I think this had a lot of potential, but they just didn't execute properly. And all in all, I'm going to have to give this a 4.5 or I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It does enough, you know, it's refreshing enough and it's different enough to where I think it's okay at the end of the day. But honestly, thinking about it now, it could have been so much better, and this really could have been a franchise of its own with the whole Harry Warden stuff. And yeah, those are my thoughts. It's bland. It's fine. It's okay. But I really have no reason to ever revisit this again. I don't know why I would ever revisit this again. Even on like Valentine's Day. Like, this will never be a must-watch for me on Valentine's Day. It just never will. It's not even something like I would have to turn on in the background while I'm going around doing something. It just didn't stand out enough. So, okay, I hope I got my thoughts properly out there. And now let's talk about My Bloody Valentine 3D. And now that we've talked about My Bloody Valentine 1981, as I said before, I just didn't care for it. I just got done watching My Bloody Valentine 3D, and I gotta say, I don't know how popular or unpopular this position is going to be, but I have to say it. I have to be honest with you. I think I definitely preferred the 2009 remake of My Bloody Valentine. I really do. I just did not care for the 1981 movie that much. I don't think it's terrible by any means. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't regret seeing it, but this one, I think everything they were doing, everything they were going for, and everything the original was going for was much better here. Let's get into my thoughts. Let's get into what I liked, what I didn't like, because this is far from perfect. Like, I'm not saying it's great by any means. I'm not even saying it's going to be a Valentine's Day staple for me. Like, I have to get this one on. I don't think it will be every Valentine's Day. I think what they were going for, I preferred it. So, okay, here's a plot synopsis for My Bloody Valentine 3D. 10 years ago, an inexperienced coal miner named Tom Hanniger caused an accident that killed 5 men and put a 6th, Harry Warden, into a coma. A year later on Valentine's Day, Harry woke up and murdered 22 people with a pickaxe before dying. Now, Tom has returned home, still haunted by the past. And something else is back in harmony. A pickaxe-wielding killer in a miner's mask, who may be the ghost of Harry, come to claim Tom and his friends. So there we go. Obviously, as I said, it's somewhat similar to the original My Bloody Valentine, but puts its own twist on it. They put their own spin on the story, which is all I ask for a remake to do in a lot of these instances. Don't just make the same thing. Put your own mark, put your own fingerprints on it, and they do that here. And you get all the Harry Warden lore in a different way. The accident this time is caused by an inexperienced miner, Tom, who causes an explosion. Everyone gets caved in. Harry Warden, as we said, has to kill 5 workers and eat them. He gets put into a coma, comes out a year later, kills all these people in the mine. And so as you can see, it's its own spin. There's a lot of its own stuff here, but it has the same lore, and I like that, and the lore is just as effective. The biggest improvement here, the kills and the gore in this are a significant improvement over the original. Significant. It's not even close. We get some pretty great kills in this. The Tom Atkins kill, spoiler alert, Tom Atkins is in this. He's great for the most part. The kills and the gore in this are a lot better. We still get some cutaway kills, but again, it's a huge improvement. The love triangle aspect is, significantly improved too. We actually dive deeper into these characters. We see Axel in this, who, has become the sheriff, and he's kind of always been jealous of Tom, and he's wanted Sarah from the beginning, but now that he gets her, he's kind of fucking around, and Sarah may have settled, and there's insecurity in that relationship, and is Tom really her true love? Overall, these are deeper characters, these are better characters, a little bit more fleshed out, so where I was actually a little bit more invested in the love triangle aspect. The town of Harmony, pretty much the same thing. Again, it's okay, the side note, the original town was called Valentine's Bluff, I believe, and this one is called the town of Harmony. So there you go. But it's a very similar concept. It's a town where everyone knows everyone else. This blue collar, this mining town. But I would also say this: it's more grounded too. One thing I kind of caught me off guard with the Valentine's Bluff in the original is that Valentine's Day, there's this huge dance, and it's apparently the biggest event of the year, and it's to a certain extent it's like Christmas. I never got that. That always seemed a little bit over the top. There's no town in the world where that exists. In this, it's a lot more grounded. Yes, people still celebrate. Yes, it's a big event, but it's more grounded, where it's not this huge holiday, huge town event. And yeah, I liked it. And then we had some neat callbacks to the original. We do. We get the scene in the mines where, the miner revealed as Tom is breaking all the lights. And it's cool, as he's breaking the lights, flashes of the miner mask over his face would come up. I thought that was really cool. And then we get the laundry scene where someone opens the dryer, and there's there's the corpse of the maid in there in the original, and then we get the scene where all the miner suits are falling from the ceiling. Just some nice little callbacks to the original that were really cool. So all in all, yeah, I think there's a lot of improvement here to this one, but some negatives. The 3D aspect has not aged well at all. And this is what I don't like about these types of movies. The 3D, it's so in your face, the 3D effects, especially when you're just watching this normally and not trying to watch it in 3D. It's clear the stuff they wanted you to see in 3D is just so in your face, and it's not subtle at all, and it's never been subtle. It was not subtle in movies like Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. So even though it's less than 20 years ago, it just hasn't aged well at all. The CG, they use quite a bit of CG, including in some of the the death scenes, and it does not look good. There's a CGI jaw during Tom Atkins' death scene that looks terrible. There's a lot of CGI blood that looks bad. There's a lot of CGI explosions that look bad. It's just, it doesn't look good. And then the acting overall of both Axel and Tom is pretty wooden. It's not terrible, I guess, but it's pretty wooden. The mine, as this is actually one of the few things that I think the original did better. The mine, I don't know, it's too well lit. There is no mood, there is no atmosphere there's very little of the mood and atmosphere that the mine of the original had, so it loses some of its effectiveness. I actually think the mine in the original was done a lot better. Some of the editing in this, it feels very early to mid 2000s editing. You know, the climax is pretty cliche, where they're both down in the mine and Sarah's holding the gun, and it's that cliche ending of like, oh no, shoot him, no, shoot him. It doesn't work. But the whodunit aspect, now look, it's clear. The whodunit aspect, it's clear the killer is either Tom or Axel, but it's actually established in this one. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's actually pretty well established, and it's actually fairly well done. I was a bit on a roller coaster. Like there are times when you think it's Tom, there are times when you think it's Axel, and I think the reveal is pretty cool as well. Of how, like, you know, it could either be like this split personality thing where, you know, Tom has the personality of Harry Warden, or it could actually be supernatural and the spirit of Harry Warden went into Tom. Kind of a cool setup they did, and you can draw your own conclusions. But overall, guys, yeah, this one's okay, actually. I'm going to say it. I'm going to get in trouble with a lot of you, but I'm going to say it. I think I prefer this one to the 1981 original. I really think I prefer this one. I think I gave the original a 5 out of 10. I think I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. It has its flaws. It's not great. I would say this is, you know, it's decent but forgettable. But overall, yeah, I think what it's going for, the 2009 3D version, for all the flaws that it has, and the 3D is part of it, is a decent Valentine's Day slasher. It's decent. So, yeah, I think if I had to rank them, I would put My Bloody Valentine 3D at number 1 and My Bloody Valentine 1981 at number 2. And trust me, the first, 5 to 10 minutes of My Bloody Valentine 3D, I did not think I was going to be saying that, because the opening credits are terrible. The opening scene is pretty terrible. But yeah, I think I actually preferred this. It's not a classic. It's not amazing by any means, but I think for what it's going for, it's an upgrade over the original. But let me know, My Bloody Valentine fans. Let me know how popular or unpopular that opinion is. Maybe it's really popular. Maybe a lot of people really think about it. Maybe it's really unpopular, and I'm a pariah to a lot of you. I was scrolling through YouTube earlier, and I saw a poll on this, and it simply said, Happy Valentine's Day, which one of these movies is better? And it had My Bloody Valentine 1981, My Bloody Valentine 3D 2009, and then it had the 2001 movie Valentine. And 66% of the respondents said My Bloody Valentine 1981 was the best movie. I think 18% of the respondents picked My Bloody Valentine 3D, and 16% of the respondents picked Valentine. So I could very well be in the minority, but hey, I have some unpopular opinions. So let me know yours down below. Let me know how popular or unpopular my opinion is, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys later.